the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs. I wanna make moves, call the shots like the boss. I wanna love like I never lost.
Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and I'm your host, Kathy Blaze. I hope you are enjoying my special day as much as I am. My next guest, she is my bestie. She's a nurse, she's a model, she's an entrepreneur. Let's welcome Miss Sharon Johnson.
Hello and happy birthday.
Hey,
It's an honor to be here on your birthday weekend.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here. You know I wouldn't be doing it without you.
Unfortunately, we can't do our Vegas weekend because of all the drama in Vegas.
Oh, I
Vegas.
I know. So, Sharon, you know what? I like to have my audience feel like they know you a little bit about you. Tell my audience where you're originally from.
I am originally from a little town in New Jersey called Lambertville. I was born and raised in Lambertville, New Jersey. So I'm an East Coaster by heart, but I love the West Coast. I'll live and die here. So, because I always told my mom I want to live somewhere where it's summer all the time. So when I was a child. So
Okay, awesome. So Sharon, you I want to say not years ago, but currently you're a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that you're currently what specialty are you in right now?
My background is oncology.
Oh.
So I worked on the oncology floor for a very long time, giving medications and treating patients, chemo patients, long-term patients. And from there, I kind of got burned out. So I ended up a short stint as a flight attendant. And the job sounds more glamorous than it actually was. But I had bad ears, so I got grounded because my ears were bad. So from there, I kind of fell into research. So what I do now is I work in pharmaceutical research.
Okay.
I spent many years working on oncology drugs for lung cancer, breast cancer, liver cancer.
Oh, okay.
Now I have an opportunity where I'm working for a company in San Diego where we are working on rare diseases.
Okay.
So
that is awesome.
yeah.
That is awesome. I was before you came on, I was speaking with a previous guest, and we had a guest on that. We were talking about legalized marijuana and the use of it in the medical, but for caring for your body, and we were talking about all the other types of drugs that patients are using, and some are choosing to go that other
the
holistic method. So, what are you, as a nurse and a specialist, and what you're doing now? What are your thoughts on that?
We gave it was called Merriman, which was a pill form of marijuana. So we gave that many years ago, and we also had regulated joints that we gave the patients, oncology patients, years ago for nausea. So even way back before it was legal that people take it for various reasons now. We gave it to cancer patients, and it did help. It helped their anxiety. It helped their pain. It helped the nausea.
Right.
As far as there are some medical benefits to marijuana now, but I'm not a firm believer in it. I think it's kind of misused. And if you misuse it, then it causes other problems. So I'm a little skeptical, with the use of it now. But back in the day, it was very helpful for cancer.
And I asked that question. I mean, what? There's pros and cons with everything, and we have guests of a show that that is what their business is about, promoting it for the health benefits and things like that. So I just wanted your thoughts were on it.
There is health benefits and a lot, but I think they need to, let people know the side effects too, because there's a lot of side effects to that people aren't aware of. So with any drug, I work in pharmaceutical, and I have a drug that goes on the market, and, you know, the drug does, you know, okay, we're going to cure your trigger finger, but then the other side of it, well, we have 100,000
Right.
side effects.
Right.
But you know what people don't realize with these side effects is if I work on a 10,000 subject study and one person faints, that has to be reported.
Right.
So then when you hear all these symptoms, the patient fainted, the patient stood up and they fainted, or they had nausea and vomiting, they had chest pain. It might only be one person, but we have to report all those symptoms. So when you hear on television the person had this, you know, his eye fell out, whatever, you know,
Right. It may be one.
It's one
Right,
person. It could
right.
be one or two people.
So
but,
people freak out thinking, oh, this drug is going to do all this
Yes.
to me.
and it's not. You know, it could be one in 1,000 people, but we have
Right.
to report every serious adverse
Of
event
course.
that happens. But it doesn't mean when you take this drug that, oh, okay, now I'm going to end up with vertigo, or now I'm going to.
Right.
But you know, that's my job to make sure any event that happens.
And
as
you
a
know
result.
what's, and I say it's funny that
Mhm.
it can be a new drug or something,
Mhm.
and they hear all that, they
Mhm.
get freaked out, not knowing. I mean, you're
Yeah.
taking this every day for
Yeah.
whatever your other problem is,
Mhm.
and it has these
Same,
side
yeah,
effects, but you don't
Mhm.
care about that because you're used to it.
Mhm.
It's common now.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get off medication. But I just wanted to touch on that because that's your field of expertise.
Yeah, I can
and
talk about that all day.
Yes, yes. So Sharon, you also started a business as for models.
I am on the ground floor. I'm working on it. I haven't launched it because I want to make sure when I do,
Mhm.
it's the proper platform
Yeah.
that I. So I haven't decided whether I want to do promotional modeling or you know, just regular modeling. There's so many competitive
Sure.
agencies out there now that have
Right.
models and or supposed models, you know, and they take
Mm.
people's money when they know that
Mm.
person's never going to be.
They're not going to be
the top model.
They're not,
yeah.
and they're not going to be
Yeah.
a runway model.
Yeah, runway model.
Right.
So you know, right now I'm just trying to, you know, I think promotional model is good because anybody can be a promotional model.
that
you
is
can
true.
represent any type of product, you know, as long as you're well spoken and present yourself well.
Right.
So and I used to do that. I worked as a.
And you know what?
Mm.
For those people that don't
Mhm.
know what a promotional model is, what is a promotional? Tell
So
them
I was
what a
just going to say, I used
yeah.
to do that. I was the national spokesmodel for Coors Brewing Company. So, and we actually.
Say that again, please.
Coors Brewing.
No, say the first word you use, national.
National spokesmodel, yes.
Yes.
And so what people don't realize when you're in that type of position is not just walking around and looking pretty and holding, you know, the beer. We had to learn about how the beer was made. We had to learn about the alcohol content, you know, of the
Right.
beer, and
Those questions
Yeah.
that people might ask
Yes.
you.
would ask you, yeah,
Right.
you know what about the beer, and then you know how many beers do I have to drink before you know my content's illegal. So you know, we tell them about the process, tell them about the company. I was in events in New York, Fashion Week. With I did an event with Teddy Pendergrass when he was alive, Boys to Men, SWB. They have a huge a music event in New York. So we did, you know, the Eagles, a lot of NFL. It got very tiring.
They kept you pretty busy
They
with
kept
that.
me very busy. I know. I think I sent you some photos of. I was. They recognized me from a swimwear contest that I was in the area. I had two huge posters that I was one of the first Black women in that area to be in a swimwear poster. So not only had one, I had two. So from that, Coors Brewing Company saw that, and you know, they wanted to go down into Newark because there's.
You need a drink of water?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I would go down into Newark because they wanted. Coors at the time was promoting illiteracy, and they had a book that was written by a Black author, and they wanted a group of educated Black women to represent their company. We were called the Silver and Gold Girls, but go into these areas and talk to the kids and let them know, there is another side of life, and you can get out of this life through education.
Right.
So that's how I got into doing that. And it was fun. It
sounds like a lot of fun. And more than fun, it sounds like it was something that was benefiting the community as well. And how was that for you?
It was a little overwhelming at first. We received a huge following to the point that towards the end of our tour, we actually had to have bodyguards.
Wow!
So many people showed up, and I think too, just not getting into what we run into. I think one point that a lot of people made is that they had dark-skinned women. Because at the time, and Naomi Campbell was big then. So she kind of, brought in like women with darker skin can model too. So the fact that I was darker.
I have to tell you that one of our crew said you looked like Tyra Banks when he was looking at your picture.
Well, it's funny. I was looking at those photos. They actually lightened them.
Really?
Because that's back in the day they did that. But the whole platform, the whole attraction was that they actually had darker skin models and not,
even though they wanted darker skin, they still liked them. They didn't want it that dark. So, and they had, Iman, she was a little darker, and then Naomi Campbell came in, so her skin color is similar to mine, and with the longer hair. So that opened the door for a lot of, darker skinned women. So I think that whole platform at Coors did that and brought, everybody wasn't light skinned and long hair. Really, it was a huge reception, That is awesome. Well, I know you brought some media, some of your pictures from that experience. Let's take a look at them and you can tell us what's going on here. Okay, sexy mama.
This was actually my second poster that I did, because the first one was such, success. And like I said, that was, I was one of the first Black women to actually be in the newspaper. It was poster size. It was so funny. I drive up to my family's house and they had the whole lawn littered with posters all over the whole lawn. Like my whole town.
You feel special.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And then this was actually my first photo shoot in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
What did it say? Look for me.
Yeah, and that was part of the swimwear contest, and that's what we wore. And there were, I think, over 100 girls, and then I was in the finals, so I was selected to be in the actual contest. So, and that's what we wore for our promotional photos.
Where was that picture taken, Sharon?
Asbury Park, New Jersey. And that was my very first poster. See where it says Asbury Park. And then this was, we did a small promotional in Philadelphia because they wanted to introduce us into Philly. So this is a different group of girls. But I led this group, and we did several events in Philadelphia.
So was that your Coors uniforms right there?
Yeah, everything that you see that I have that we wore, Coors sent us. Down to socks, sneakers, shirts. I would get a box once a week with everything that I'm supposed to wear to the promotion.
And they had their logos on.
Had the logos on it, even sneakers. So
that is cool.
Yeah, it was a good gig, as we say in the business.
Yes. We have the Silver and Gold Girls. Tell us about them.
Well, Coors has the gold can use and the silver, so we represented that. And all the girls, one girl on the end is engineer, and the girl in the silver next to me is a school teacher, and the girl next to her is an esthetician. So, and then of course I was a nurse. So we just wanted to represent Black women in all phases of life.
You just took over that picture with that leg. And that smile and that as my friend would call it, the broken wrist. I mean, you did it right there.
This is so funny because the stylist kept calling me Naomi. I was like,
Oh,
I said, and and what did he say? He said
tell
that
him no, I'm
Naomi. I
Sharon.
said, no, I'm older than here. I was here before her. But it was a nice experience.
That is awesome.
Modeling is hard.
It is.
It's hard work.
It is hard work.
People think it's easy to just stand in
Mhm.
front of the camera. I mean, I've had photo shoots where summertime we're wearing wool suits and it's
Mhm.
90 degrees out.
Right.
I've done, movies, after school, ABC after school
Mhm.
specials, quite a few commercials, and, just over and over again.
Right.
My son and I did promotionals for Sesame Place.
Mm.
His photos are still on up there. Use those as promotion. I should have
Really?
put some of those. So I've done a lot. I respect any actor because this is their life. They love it. 'Cause
Right.
it's hard work.
And you know what the thing is? You said it's hard work. People that are passionate about what
Mhm.
they're doing and are really in this industry because they want to, they see the hard
Yeah,
work
it's
in it.
hard work.
But if
yeah.
you're just doing it as a hobby, you're not going to see the
Mhm.
hard work that others
No.
are putting in. Even you're not going to put
Yeah.
the hard work in it because you're just doing it as a hobby.
Yeah.
So I totally understand
And you
that.
could work on a project and it may not even come out till months later,
Right.
and you're on something else. So
Right.
yeah, it's a hard business.
That is,
I was glad that it was a second career for me, and it wasn't
Your
a
main-
passion because, especially living on the East Coast in New York is brutal.
right.
Very brutal. I mean, they will cut you down to the quick very fast. So if you can survive modeling or acting in New York, you can pretty much survive anywhere.
Yes. So Sharon, you started doing that some years ago.
Mhm.
You're still just as beautiful as you were then. And what advice would you give to someone that wants to get into this industry?
If you're young, my advice is to just keep yourself fresh. Don't fall into. You can get very easily caught up in the parties, the
Mhm.
drinking. Have a second choice.
Mm.
Have a career.
Right.
If you're going to be a nurse, be a nurse. If you're, want to be an esthetician, have a second career to fall back on. So when you don't get that acting, that
Right.
commercial or that movie, you have something to fall back on, and that's what saved me. If you have a career to fall back on, because these directors and producers
Right.
will take advantage of that, especially like in New York, and well, if you come to my room, later tonight, don't be desperate because.
Right.
You're a dime a dozen. If you
Right.
don't do it, there's another person that will. So
we talking about another couch over
yeah,
here.
yeah. So for me, I just said, you know what? Well, I have a career, so
Right. So
and-
it wasn't that you didn't have
Mhm.
to do those
But
things
I-
that some
yeah.
people did.
But I got a lot
Right.
of work because of that attitude. I wasn't,
Mhm.
desperate. So you have to be with someone who's experienced. First of all, is have someone who's
Well,
in the
what?
business.
I would say desperate
Yeah.
people look for desperate
Mhm.
people.
But I feel sorry because there's a lot of young kids that are misled,
Right.
and a lot of serious things happen to
Right.
young people because they don't
That is
have
true.
someone. I was with
And they don't have someone, and then a lot of
Yeah.
times the parents want them to have it
Yeah.
so bad that they're
Mhm.
overlooking things that they should have caught also.
I worked with a model named Roz Clancy, and she had a modeling agency in Trenton, and she was a model for Wilhelmina, and she told us every in and out of the business. Like, if you go there and they ask you to remove your clothes because they want you to see your skin, your texture, don't do it. She told us everything, so we were prepared when we went on go-sees. So you need someone like that who looks out
Right.
not only for her best interest, for your best
Of
interest.
course.
So, and a lot of people don't get that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, it was such a pleasure to
It's an
have you
honor
here
to
with
be
us.
here on your birthday.
Thank you.
21 again.
Yes. One of our guys asked, how many candles do we need to put up? I said, he said 21. I said, yeah. 21.
I'm down to one. Yeah.
Down to one. Well, again, yes, thank you for joining us here today
It's an honor
and
to be
celebrating my
here.
special birthday. And thank you for joining us here on Desertwood Days, and I'll catch you next time.
Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze was sponsored today by Colobarts Entertainment. Visit them at colobartsent.com.